Hello there. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is about the breath. And I kind of want to get started today just saying that we've been building on what's ultimately coming on Tuesday, which is bringing mindfulness into daily life. So we're starting with presence of the body kind of as a whole. And then we moved into the body in motion, which was last time on this past Tuesday. And today's topic is on the breath and using the breath as the mindfulness anchor and calm beyond forcing. And then the next one, which is kind of like the final in this 4-part series, is about bringing it all together in daily life. And I guess as I've been doing this topic or these few topics, I keep thinking to myself, I wish I was giving more applicability in each one of these. But then I remember that, wait a minute, it's this one that's coming up on, this next event that's really where we pull it all together and talk about its applicability. So it's okay that we just kind of focus on how to be mindful in each of these zones first, and then at the end we talk about how we bring it all together and what's the applicability of it. So it all does root from mindfulness of body, because breath is something that is an observable phenomenon of the body. You can notice yourself breathing, and breathing causes physical sensations in the body. And so just like last time, movement is something that you can observe in the body. So as you're moving, you can notice how movement affects you and how it affects the feeling of the body, as well as sometimes our emotions all ebb and flow. And that's not really a sometimes, it's always. We're having these kinds of moments of high and low energy. And as we bring movement into our lives, we can see that is affected by, the high and low energy is affected by how we bring movement into our lives too. So there's so much that you can observe that if you have never been paying attention to it, that you can finally notice these things as you start your mindfulness practice and start to recognize how, the triangle of the body, the mind, and the emotions, so body, physical, mind, mental, and emotions, these three realms all interact with one another all the time. And just like how a physical sensation can cause an unpleasant physical sensation can cause an emotion, like an anger or a feeling of I wish this wasn't here, and then that comes with thoughts, which also can trigger more bodily sensations, and then so this triangle keeps going around. And so we can see that the body and bringing in movement can have some effect on the body, which affects the mind and the emotions. And breathing is something that is kind of like, it's the most fleeting need of our bodies. We need food, we need water, we need warmth. There are lots of things we need. The one thing that we need more than anything is air. We have to continue breathing. We can't live without air for even a few minutes. So this is something that the body is constantly doing. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that, but the reason I tell you that is because there's a good chance that most of the time you don't notice that you're breathing. And so this event is about how can we bring more awareness to our breath. And by the way, there's information in the breath. I think a lot of people come to Insight Timer, for example, and want ways to calm down. And so that could be like breath work. Like we purposely control the breath and cause something to happen, right? So this isn't that. This is, can we be aware of the breath? And can we start to become at peace with whatever it is that's going on with us. And that's really, that's true mindfulness. Can I notice my breath? And as I practice focusing on my breath, can I start to see some of the things that I want to do with my breath? Can I see striving showing up? Can I see judging showing up? Like, these are two pieces that do tend to show up a lot as we're or with a lot of people as we're trying to focus on the breath. So mindfulness of breathing is knowing the breath as it is while it's happening. So, why this is important is because many of us will turn the breath, whether we want to or not, into a project, because we're so used to having everything in life has to be a project. So this becomes the project. So that practice becomes striving. So breath is a good anchor because it's continuous and it's accessible in most situations. It changes moment by moment, so it's naturally trains us to stay with change so that we can be more adaptable, we can be more ready for change because, well, first of all, the inhalation and the exhalation are different, and your body will feel different during the inhalation and the exhalation, and you can notice that. And then another change is that the pace of the breath changes based on what emotions we're feeling. The pace of the breath changes based on what physical activity that we're doing. The pace of the breath can change with thoughts as well. So thoughts, as they're stirring up emotions, can start to change the breath. Emotions change the breath because of what was the evolution, or what is the evolutionary purpose of emotions, right? And I guess I can do a whole nother video about that. But this one's just about the breath. So what we're training with the breath as well. So one other aspect is the returning. So it's not just about trying super hard to stay focused on the breath, but it's also about noticing when our mind wanders away. It's natural. You're not going to be perfect. Even if you've been meditating for 20 years, you're still going to have times when your mind wanders away. And as a person who's meditated for nearly 10 years, I can tell you, daily for nearly 10 years, I can tell you that this is still, it still happens to me every single time I sit down to meditate. So, that is the muscle that we're flexing as we do our practice, is that returning. So no, it's not going to be perfect. And by noticing and returning, you're making your mind stronger because it's going to help you to notice all kinds of things in your daily life. So what are the common traps? I covered this a little bit, but let's go through them explicitly. Number one is the controlling trap. I should breathe slower or deepen my breath to calm down. Does that sound familiar? I should breathe slower or deepen to calm down, right? That's again a type of performance, trying to make the breath different for a particular reason. Okay, so the subtle sign is you notice you start managing the inhale, you're tightening around the throat, or you're getting rigid. Trap B is scoring. Am I doing it right? Am I getting calm yet? This kind of self-surveillance is what we've been talking about in earlier talks, just about the hypervigilance that may come from mindfulness. So a line that you can remind yourself: the breath is an anchor, not a lever. So let's look at it that way. The breath as an anchor into this moment, not the lever to try to control what it is that's going on. So as we pay attention to the breath, the breath is a subset of body. So you can notice the breath in several regions of the body. The typical recommendations, not just from me, but other meditation teachers, is for me, number one. I'll put them in order of my personal preference. So number one is the belly. Noticing how the belly moves, the rising and falling of the belly. I choose the belly because it's the place that I can notice the breath the most. So it's just, there's more motion there, right? There's more motion there than anywhere else. So I can really feel the belly as it expands on the inhale and as it contracts on the exhale. So this kind of feeling of the movement of the belly. And also, as I'm paying attention to the belly, there's also some emotional cues that can show up there. So that, it's kind of a dual purpose, but mostly because the most motion possible is there. Number two is the nostrils. I find the nostrils are easy to tune into because I can feel the movement of air. So it's like literally the thing that I'm breathing becomes available. And so that might be more helpful for some people as well, is because it's the air itself, the cool air coming in, the warm air coming out, you can notice more easily. Number three, the chest, the ribs. You can feel the subtle expansion and contraction of the chest. And this is another place where emotion might manifest. Sometimes we feel emotion manifesting around the area of the heart. And then last but not least, and this is one that I don't teach very often, but I think it's really important to say, is the feeling of the whole body breathing. So it's not some kind of mystical feeling. It's just this, it's how some people perceive the breath best. It's just this sensing of the entire breath moving through the body like a gentle wave coming in and out. So you don't need to choose the best spot, and your best spot might change each day. Just choose the one that is good enough for you. Okay, so one addition to talking about the breath is, what do you do when the breath feels uncomfortable? So is it okay? Is it okay that I'm practicing my meditation and my breath doesn't feel, I don't feel like focusing on my breath? Can I move? So what tends to happen is that anxiety can make the breath feel tight or watched. Trauma history can make the breath focus feel unsafe for some people. Some people will feel dizzy when they try too hard. I've had like quite a few pieces of feedback of people, after we do the meditation, like I'm dizzy. I felt out of breath. I started hyperventilating. It's because of that trying too hard. And there's also sometimes people will have a pressure and give themselves pressure. If I do this right, I will calm down. And so it's that kind of that pressure that of course makes the calm even farther away and can make the breath feel even more labored. So step one, loosen the grip. Let the breath breathe itself. You are observing, not operating. Your body knows how to breathe. You don't have to be in control. You don't have to be in control of that. As Jon Kabat-Zinn has said, if it were up to me to control my breath, I would have been dead a long time ago because I forget about my breath so often. Step two, widen the attention. Include the contact points. This can help. Step three, choose a different anchor. If the breath is too charged today, use physical sensations of the body, the pressure of the cushion, the chair, or possibly sound. It still counts. That's still mindfulness practice. And you can keep it short. This breath is enough. So focus here for one breath, and then feel free to go back to whatever anchor you were at. So focus on one breath, one complete breath, and then reorient to whatever it is that's neutral. And last little bit before we get into our practice. Just like movement, you can pay attention to the breath in the same exact places that you can pay attention to your body as it moves. So notice before you open your phone, maybe take a breath before you do. Before you respond in a conversation with someone, just feel the breath. When you're walking to the bathroom, when you're waiting for the elevator, when you're transitioning from one thing to another, from one room to another, can you, as you place your hand on the doorknob, can you feel the breath in your body? So stop, feel one breath, and then continue. Okay. Welcome once again, everybody. Let's go ahead and get into our period of practice. Today, we're going to be meditating on, you guessed it, the feeling of breathing. So get comfortable. So find a meditation posture that is going to be conducive to relaxation and alertness. And for me, I'm sitting on a meditation cushion. I have no backrest. That is intentional to keep me alert. But the cushion's comfortable. I'm comfortable here. So that's that combo that we're looking for. If you're sitting on a chair, maybe bringing your buttocks to the edge of the chair so that you can sit up straight. I always find that my knees being lower than my hips is quite important to keep that natural curvature in the spine, to keep me from slouching, which keeps alertness, which supports my lower back. You can feel free to let your eyes close if that's comfortable for you. If you'd like to keep your eyes open, just seeing if you can gaze downward with a soft gaze at about a 45-degree angle. So sitting in a posture of dignity as best you can, as this will help our resolve. Our posture can help to reflect our mind state, or maybe more accurately, our mind state will reflect our posture in some way. It's that union of body and mind. So notice, if you can, the feeling of gravity pulling down on your body. The feeling of the contact points, the chair, the cushion pushing back. And just take a moment to check into the body. What's the state of the body like today, right now? Is there one word that can capture your feeling right now? And so this is who is here. This is what is here right now. And so let me gently guide you to start bringing attention to the feeling of breathing. Wherever it's most prominent. So any of those 4 points are more than valid. You can use your belly, rising and falling, air moving in and out of the nostrils as you breathe, the chest expanding and contracting, or the feeling of the body as a whole. Breath going in and out of the body. And so if you're like, hey, Ryan, that's too many options for me, then come to the belly. Join me at the belly. expanding as I breathe in, contracting as I breathe out. So as best you can, whatever chosen anchor you are at, keeping your attention there, seeing if you can notice with curiosity all of the little nuances of what it feels like to be breathing, and use that curiosity to help keep your attention anchored. Now, is your awareness of breathing changing your breath at all? See if you can notice that. And then maybe you can answer that question. Well, who's in control? Is my body breathing, or has my awareness of my breath caused me to want to take over control? There's no right answer. There's nothing wrong with noticing having taken over control of the breath. Just being aware of what's going on. Moment by moment, breath by breath. Is your mind still on the breath, or has it wandered away? If your mind wandered, remember, you've done nothing wrong. It's natural. Is it possible to smile at yourself? Kindly let go of whatever it is that you were thinking of and return the attention to the feeling of breathing. And has this control, or have you wanted to control your breath? Has it become too intense? Have you found yourself getting dizzy, or the breath deepening, or this awareness of breath has become too affecting of the breath? In that case, why not shift anchors? Shift the sounds. Shift to the feeling of the cushion or chair on your body. Concentrate on that instead of breath. And then, whenever you're ready, see if you can come back for one breath. And then reorient to your other anchor. As time goes on, breath can be more and more accessible. Through practice, this is not a one-time event. This is something that if we keep doing it, we will get better. As S.N. Goenka says, patiently and persistently, and you're bound to be successful. You're bound to be successful. It's inhaling, followed by exhaling, followed by inhaling, followed by exhaling, followed by inhaling, followed by exhaling. Nothing more. You're doing great. Keep it up. Just a few more minutes to go. And now let's see if we can expand awareness to the entire body. What's it like now? So as we got started, there was a little check-in. We looked at our bodies. We looked at our minds. We looked at our emotions. I'm just going to ask you to try that one more time. And now, is there a word that you can put on this mind state? And let me be clear, it doesn't have to be an improvement from the previous word. Maybe you're more agitated now. The idea here is just to notice that even if there's something slight, something subtle, maybe things aren't exactly the same way they were when we began. So just noticing what is here now. So thanks everybody for attending, for making it through today's practice. Maybe take a moment to thank yourself as this is helpful for you. I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Thanks everyone for being here. How'd it go? What was it like? What did you notice today? What were those the beginning state and the end state? Did you notice a difference? What was it like? What was different about it, if anything at all? Thank you, Wendy, for your donation, and thanks for being here today. It's a pleasure hosting as always. I noticed my mind. Here, I'm gonna. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. Thanks for saying that, Wendy. I noticed my mind when that moment when I said, if your mind has wandered away, well, that was really that was really real. That was because my mind had wandered away at that moment. So I was off thinking about a dream that I had had last night, and I found that I was really engaged with that. And then it just kind of hit me. Wait a minute, I'm so off. I'm so off in thinking about that I'm just not here anymore. I forgot that I'm sitting in front of my computer and doing this live event. That's how far gone I was. And that's just what happens sometimes. That's the nature of the beast. So, that's don't beat yourself up. And can you smile? Can you smile when you find yourself wandering away? Yeah, Gene, it's not the first time. I don't, maybe I've been in live event. I've been in person. I've been teaching in-person classes before, and I've just so zoned out or zoned in that I'm just kind of in my own world. And, I think that can be common. So again, great to see familiar faces and new faces. So happy that you've chosen to join me today. Next time, and by the way, keep writing in the chat if I'd love to hear more about your experience. So next time we will wrap it all up. So body plus movement in the body plus breath in the body to how do I bring this into my daily life? So these have been, they've felt like a bit like little isolated islands. Like, what's the point? I'm not about just the practice. How do we take this practice and make it into something useful, right? Like I always say, I don't go to the gym because I love the gym so much. I go to the gym because I like the effect that it has on my body and my mind and my emotions. That's the point. And that's the point of the mindfulness practice for me also. So next time is Tuesday, 5:30 a.m. Singapore time, whatever time that is for you. Insight Timer converts it automatically for you. You can check to see when the next live event is, and we'll wrap it all up. Look forward to seeing you then. Jean says, I notice myself wanting to control the breath and then following the guidance. Focus on something else and then come back to the breath. And that's interesting too, because I noticed that in the beginning too. I noticed that my breath was getting deeper and longer, and there was that question, who's doing that? Am I doing that? Is that happening? Is that happening naturally? Is that a consequence of being aware of the breath? So that it's a good thing to notice, and there doesn't need to be an answer to that. Angie says, at least you didn't fall asleep. I've gone to a class here on IT when the teacher nods off. Well, fortunately, that's never happened to me. I'm usually aware enough that doesn't happen. And then my mind wandered to making dinner. It's amazing where our minds wander to. All right, time for me to go. Let's close our practice as we do with some well wishes to ourselves and to everybody else. Follow along if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all human beings, all of our brothers and sisters, our siblings, may we all be happy and peaceful. Thanks again for joining. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.